provide a brief outline of the topics to cover throughout the session. First, we are going to revise the terms. What is measurement? What is measured data, construct, operational definition, and operationalization. Second, we're going to discuss the distinction between reliability and validity in to measure the to assess the quality of the measures. Third, we are going to have a look through the multi-item skills in social research, and we are going to revise some statistical methods for checking for reliability and validity in multi-item skills. I think that's enough. So, can we give some examples about some measures in our lives? Yeah, we use a lot of measures actually.
Yeah. How much money I have?
How much money?
How culture and corporate culture.
Corporate culture, do you measure corporate culture every day? I don't try to measure.
How to measure corporate culture? You don't indicate.
Just a very simple example. What's the temperature today? Okay. How much is it? So, there are two types of people. Some people like numbers.
Yeah.
Okay. Some people hate numbers. For example, I don't want to mention their name. First letter is Fatwa. They don't like numbers. Okay. But anyway, we cannot avoid numbers. Numbers are everywhere, and we need to measure, and we need to make some decisions. Here are some examples. We use them almost every day. That's why you cannot avoid it. And qualitative, we don't need numbers. No. For example, we ever asked for a drink, how much is it? Why? You don't like numbers? What is the weather temperature today? This is a common problem for every instructor. And what time is it? How much is your salary? Blah, 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 blah. It goes on, goes on, goes on. So, first, we need to quantify something. Based on this, we compare or we analyze these numbers and come to a conclusion and decision or comment. For example, we analyze, conclude, and discuss. 5,000 tenge, are you crazy? I will not buy. Minus 25 degrees, too cold. And for Astana, it is too hot. If you dare to give 49, you are going to see the magic of numbers. 1 point, please. And it goes on, goes on, goes on, goes on. As you see, we cannot avoid numbers in our lives. And correctly measuring something is critically important. Generally, in the final times, we see a lot of what petitions from the students. This is what we measurement and the quality is very important for this community outside. GP is there, but really having a for. But first of all, we need to come up with some definitions. We need to clarify some definitions. First, measure is a mathematical value, number assigned to an object. Height, weight, temperature, salary, like this. Okay? But measurement actually is the process of assigning numbers to the objects. The rules, how we assign the numbers to the objects. Okay? So, there is a clear cut between measure and measurement. Measure is the value itself, measurement is the procedures that we apply to come up with the what's measured. Data is what? Factual information, measure, okay? As a basis for reasoning. Meaning that data is the raw material, the number we receive, measure itself. Based on this measure or data, we analyze and come to a what conclusion, we come up with a decision. Okay. This is interesting. Constructs are mental abstractions that we use to express the ideas, people, organizations, events, or objects. In the literature, we see them as latent variables. Some literature mentions latent variables, or in other terms, unobserved variables. Possibly the most difficult to measure is to measure the constraints. For example, let me give some examples about constraints, what we understand. Student satisfaction. Satisfaction. Satisfaction is in the mind, okay? We cannot observe them. It is in the mind, okay? It's an abstraction. What else? Happiness, satisfaction, happiness, what else? Corporate culture. Wow, this is, corporate culture is, whatever, this is out of the scope of all of this seminar. And it's a construct, but this construct is composed of other constructs. These are complicated ones.
Right, because it's even like different approach how to understand the corporate culture from religions, from
A lot of
education. Okay, sorry.
depends on the theory.
And
For example, satisfaction is also a complicated one. For example, when you say satisfaction from a view, which satisfaction are we speaking about? Satisfaction from the likeness, satisfaction from aesthetic, satisfaction from the lecture quality, satisfaction from the infrastructure, which satisfaction? Then each category of satisfaction is a construct, but satisfaction of the university is a higher order construct, it's top down, okay? Engagements, behavior, or feelings. And if you cannot directly observe, if you cannot directly measure something, and if something is about your mental feelings, this is called a very construct. Possibly one of the most difficult things to measure. For example, every day we are dealing with this construct, students' academic success. We have midterms, quizzes, finals, exams, student success. Okay? We cannot measure, there is always an error. Okay? And operational definition, how the researcher decides to measure the constructs in a study. For example, you want to measure the happiness. How will you measure it? Are you going to sit down and look at his or her face and try to assign a number based on his or her expressions? Or would you like to give him a survey and rate his own happiness? Or would you want some other people to rate his happiness? There are different methods to measure. Okay, which method we are going to use to measure the latent variable of constructs. Okay. Operationalization is different. Is this process of creating a definition. Based on this definition, we will use the proper math to measure it. We will have some examples about it. Okay? For example, if you want to measure the happiness or student success, first, you need to define it. Everything comes from the what? This definition. Based on this definition, we will develop a method how to measure it. Without a definition, there is not a measurement. Okay? We are going to see them shortly. Do we have any questions, dear friends? There are 4 levels of measurement. First one is nominal. Generally, we are confused about that. Okay, nominal is about much about demographic characteristics of the person, such as gender, location, industry, school type, country of origin. Okay, here, if you are not sure about it, nominal, it comes from name, NM, normal, nominal. This is about the names, attributes. So, for example, here, if I label gender as male 1, female 2, doesn't mean female is superior than male. Numbers have no meaning there. There are the etiquettes that we assign, labels that we assign. In ordinal measurements, generally, we use them generally in survey studies. There is a ranking, but there is not a meaningful difference between them. For example, maybe you have come across liquor type of skills, very successful model. So the difference between 5 and 4 is not, should not equal to the difference between 3 and 4. These are just orders. Okay? There and numbers show their rankings, that's all. It doesn't mean the exact difference. Okay? Interval measurements, measurement on a numerical scale which value of 0 is arbitrary. For example, here, air temperature, 5 to 6, the difference is equal to 6 to 7. 7 to 8 is equal to the difference between 7 to 8 is equal to the difference between 24 and 35. The intervals are meaningful, but there is not an absolute zero. Absolute zero not available. For example, when we say air temperature is 0 degrees outside, it doesn't mean that there is a heat outside. 0 has also meaning. Okay? There is no absolute 0. 0 has also a meaning, but it doesn't mean that this concept does not exist. Okay? Ratio measures 0 has a meaningful value. For example, number of students in a class. 0 students means no students, correct? The difference between 24 and 25 students is equal to the difference between 27 and 28 students. The intervals here, intervals are meaningful. The only difference is in interval measurement, there is no absolute 0. 0 has also a meaning. But in here, we have an order. Something is more important than the other. How much is important is not given in here. We have no idea.
I have a question.
Yes.
Sample population interval measurements. How many 0 is important?
0 has a meaning.
Okay, but
Population is ratio.
which is a ratio?
Ratio, yeah. 0% means that there is no. Okay? But here, if you see, the air temperature is 0. Or the first, what? Okay.
And several measurement, it's not population, it's a ratio.
Yeah, population is ratio. Population. If it's coming from the countings, okay? And if 0 has a meaning, it is ratio. And if you are using SPSS software, SPSS provides nominal, ordinal, and just scale, no interval or ratio specific. For example, look, from our domain, we want to measure the success of a firm. Okay, success of a firm. Theory says that the success of a company is the degree to which it achieves its overall objectives. Very generous. A firm might have a lot of objectives. Theory says so. But based on this general definition, we can operationalize it differently. Remember, operationalization is giving a definition, providing a definition of the concept. For example, in your research, you can say, in this study, firm success is the increase in the profitability of the company. I accept this as a proxy, as a benchmark, or growth, or export, innovative market share, a lot of proxies. Which one you are using, you must justify in your research. So here there are different operational definitions. For example, if you are accepting product quality as a success of a company, how will you measure it? Number of ISO certificates, okay, accreditations, okay. But everything must be supported by academic literature. I think so, and I accept so. It's not relevant in academia. Okay, you must rely on. Okay, here are 4 key steps. First, every time we say make sufficient review. Without literature review, don't even try to initiate the research. Or you should have sufficient knowledge in that area. If you trust yourself, when you become a professor and guru in your area, okay. But anyway, literature review is the must and the most important stages of initiating a research. So, based on literature review, you develop solid research plans and objectives, okay? Then, if your research objective is quantitative and if you are to measure a constraint, okay? So, you need to operationalize it, okay? Define. So I want to examine student satisfaction on students' academic success. Okay, what does it mean satisfaction? What does it mean academic success? Okay, and how we are going to measure? Remember, operationalization is the process. We start with the definition and with the proper instruments to measure a constant. Okay. For example, look, there is just one example to make it clearer. Based on the gaps in the literature, here we say that we have looked through we have reviewed the literature. So the aims to examine the impact of market orientation of two constraints, two latent variables. Market orientation and what? Now, but the problem is how I am going to measure market orientation. Which definition? Again, supported with the literature. You can see that, for example, innovativeness is chosen to represent further performance. Okay? The more innovation, if you are making a research on high-tech industry, okay? They have to make innovations always. Okay? So I can see that in my research, I'm focusing on high-tech industries, and in high-tech industries, innovativeness is the key indicator for the firm's success. You can give examples from Nokia's failure and Apple's success, for example. Okay? And data goal, innovativeness, then I give the definition. Okay? This is operational, part of the operationalization. Innovativeness is the degree to which firms are able to generate new ideas, process products. This is the theoretical definition. Okay? Based on this, we proceed to the operationalization. Then we give an example. Literature offers several tools of measurement. Some of them uses R&D expenditures, number of patents. Okay? These are the alternative operationalizers. And then you need to indicate which one you are going to select and why you are selecting this. Everything must be on a solid rationale. We use R&D expenditures. This is operationalization. Okay? The more R&D expenditures you have, the more innovative you will be. And measured by, how am I going to measure it? R&D expenses divided by sales to standardize, to convert it into a ratio, not absolute values. Okay? I rely on an existing one scale, as I refer to Mr. X663. Okay. Okay. Do you have any addition, subtraction, comments, questions to discuss?
If you're finished,
No, I haven't finished. I'm making a break. I don't want to speak all the time.
okay, one.
Orası bir romantik işte.
Okay. Actually, in case of definition, I will use this conceptualization. Almost same.
Yeah.
Conceptualization, operationalization, and working concept and then operationalization. Just simply, I review an interesting manuscript, which published in a scientific journal in Philippines. The title, Digital Technology in the Field of Post-Integration comes in Canada, okay? And one interesting thing, there are other, they use such a definition, irregular integration. Okay, I underline, of your research, maybe you talk some additional integration. You should be very careful in case of this problem. Irregular, in many cases, connected with style issue, irregular. So you must use such not irregular integration, but unofficial integration, informal integration. In this case, your idea, your aim will be more because in case of coding, I mean about coding irregular and unofficial, I began to read another code. I mean about digitalization. So the definition, as we mentioned, or conceptualization is very important. Beginning from the theoretical part, we must understand the meaning of this word. And now there are very interesting topics in case of really quality of the research, not quality of research. And now we try to understand our lab. For example, in natural science, we are very familiar how to construct any plant, how to develop a car or other, but in case of social science, we have a lot of problems, problems here. And now we should conceptualize or make a good definition or make good coding of this word. This is
not actually coding, but definition about
coding from the point of the
definition. For example, from physics, if you want to measure the heat of an object, you just put temperature, very easy. If distance, take a ruler, measure it. But in social science, how can you measure the happiness of a person? No language.
Simply, I want to underline the importance of characterization and definition.
For example, Hayat Bey was measuring the institutional quality of institutional quality. What he relied on the World Corruption Index.
No.
Okay, the quality. For example. Okay. But, dear friends, the quality is also important. As the instructors especially, at the end of the semester, students come, this is not judgment, the teacher didn't ask correctly, evaluation was not correct. There are a lot of disputes between, right?
Yeah, it's very important.
Measured quality is important. Yeah, the same is for scientific study. The data, the measure we collect, okay, I can collect data from by any, but is it quality? Is it sufficient quality? Is a major issue. In this context, we have two types of proxies. First one is what? Reliability. The data we collect must be reliable, consistent. If this data is collected again and again with regular investments and internals, we are supposed to receive the same similar results. Reliability is about consistency. Okay. Second one is validity. The ability to measure what it really intends to measure. I want to measure something. For example, I want to measure the height of this curtain. What can I use? Height.
Yeah.
Left hand. If you use what?
For mass.
For mass, it's not correct. If I use thermometer to measure, no. Validity is about the instrument you are using must address your needs. Okay? Generally, these are confused by the young scholars. What is reliability, what is validity? There are a lot of reliability types actually, a lot of different validity. And especially for young scholars who would like to pursue a dissertation and you are using a quantitative method. Every reliability item must initially be justified. Look, my data is reliable, my data is reliable, my data is valid. Perhaps you need to write 20 pages for demonstrating the quality of your dissertation. This is critically important. In my dissertation, believe me, I spent months on the quality, not the hypothesis. Hypothesis, 5 seconds. The quality, oh my gosh, one criteria fits, the second criteria does not come. You need to find the correct ways to deal with such irregularities. Okay? For example, look, this is a good one. So, in a scientific study using quantitative work, our objective is to hit from the center, correct? Look, in the first one, we see consistency. The arrows are striking at the same spot from here. You see, they are consistent, still reliable. But you are not hitting the target. Second one, both valid, both reliable. Okay? Hitting the target. You must hit the target consistently. Not valid, not reliable. What's the bardak? Okay? We see inconsistency in the result, and we are not measuring what we want to measure. Okay? Just say, okay? Let's see. Here's an example. Just keep this picture in your mind. For example, assess the reliability and validity of this examination. Huh? You are teaching English lesson, English, but you are giving them Chinese examination. Is it? reliable. Huh? It is reliable. It is reliable. Now, if Chinese says to these guys outside, you will receive the same result. 0, 0, 0, 0, consistent. You are measuring the Chinese knowledge of the students. Okay? It is reliable. But is it valid?
Yeah.
You are not asking the intended, you are not measuring what you want to measure. This one. Okay? Okay. Reliable because you will get consistently 0. Okay? But not valid. And intermediate English test and intermediate English course. Correct. Reliable and you will get consistent results, not from all the students. One student should be getting the consistent results. We are not asking the consistency among the participants. We are seeking for the consistency. If the same test is given in regular intervals, the same person should be receiving the same result. Not same, but similar. Okay? Well, okay. Let's say that. Not valid is is it reliable? What makes up the difference?
You guess, and the results.
Yeah, there is a random element here. Random element. The students might have achieved right and get a high result. Second one, in the second test, they will get completely different result. Third one, completely. You cannot find consistency among the different measures. Okay? So this is not normal. But something cannot be valid if it is not reliable. Okay? This is impossible to see.
Question.
Yes.
Our respondents may affect availability or validity of non-respondents. It's important, right?
Yeah, it is important.
Or,
It depends on. Yeah. And academic answer. Depends on complex question, number of constructs you are using, number of items you are using, number of hypotheses, population.
So if it's possible that one is fired or not.
No.
Anyway, it's not.
Yeah. Higher the sample size, lower the error. Okay?
More
That is, if you have 10 people, better to use qualitative method. Difficult to justify such a low response rate. Okay? Right?
What's the minimum response rate which can be valid generally?
Generally, for every hypothesis you are testing, there should be minimum 10 according to Haley. Okay? But this is too relaxed assumption. But in doctoral studies, minimum 200. And this is my, but anyway, you can use, there are some different softwares that can give you the minimum sample size. You enter the number of hypotheses and number of constructs, their relationships and alpha beta errors, desired minimum alpha beta errors, and it gives you the results. It's a G power. There is a software called G power that helps you to identify the minimum sample size. Evet hocam. Any other questions? So we have so limited time. I should be in a hurry.
Just to comment on sample size, in healthcare we usually use 30, minimum number of 30 respondents per each category you measure. So that approximates the number to the well-worth normal distribution. So it gets like more statistically significant. So please consider us also.
But sample size is not enough.
It's complicated.
Your sampling method is also important. Who you are taking them. For example, I don't want to mention the name of the person, okay, from pedagogy faculty, any pedagogues in here? Okay, great. Özdeki soru farklı olan. So, my friend brought me a data set from 700 students. Wow, sample size is great. I checked the reliability and validity tests. I'm testing it. First, you need to test it. Results are variable. Then I looked through, who did you collect this data? He collected the data from the students of law faculty, some of the disclosed, law faculty. I say, does law faculty has an English language instruction? No. Do they know English? They don't know. But your survey is in English. How did they respond? Yeah, I just gave them and they just filled it. No. Impossible. Your sampling strategy is also critically important. Just if you go out and give that survey to SDU students and write the title of your research as students' perception, blah, 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 in Kazakhstan. Wow, welcome to the new era of the research. Does the perception of SDU students reflect the perceptions of entire Kazakhstan? We have a unique culture. So sampling strategy is much important than sampling sample size. Okay? If you ask wrong questions to a wrong person, you will receive a wrong answer. Okay. But in social research, generally, we are interested in abstract concepts. And we cannot directly measure them. Roulette the job. We don't have a ruler. We don't have a thermometer. So these are called as latent variables or unobserved variables. Such as, here are some examples: anxiety, satisfaction, happiness, relationship, quality, commitment, learning capability, reciprocity, whatever comes to your mind. It's about our feelings. Generally, the concepts that we are going to cover up in the upcoming minutes are developed by the academicians in the psychology. Because psychology is the father of this methodology. Because psychology is always dealing with what? Latent variables, latent constructs. Okay? But measuring the construct with a single item is problematic. For example, you want to assess the academic success of a student. Do you think it is fair to take just one final examination and assess them accordingly? For final exam. Why? Health, emotional problems. At that moment, something might happen. Okay. The student might not demonstrate his actual skills in the one final examination. Okay. If you take 20 examinations throughout semester, too much. So some exams will be redundant. Was killing it. So, in order to minimize the measurement error, and redundancy, we must use optimum number of quizzes and examinations to assess the exact what success of this. The same situation is for these constructs. If you want to measure anxiety, you need to ask the person several questions, several items. Okay? It depends on the complexity of the construct. If the construct, when the construct becomes complicated, number of items will increase. For example, if you want to measure the social capital of a person, social capital is a big concept, then you need to ask 35, 40 questions to measure a single item, single construct. But if you want to measure the commitment of a person on his task, 6 or 7 questions. It depends. It depends on the operationalization and definition and the previous definition. Okay? And in the surveys, we asked them several questions. For example, the construct that we want to measure is OLC, okay? Organizational learning capability. Here, I defined from the theoretical definition, I derived my own operational definition, and then I operationalize. Is the ability to acquire, assimilate, and exploit the new knowledge to improve our operations. For example, okay? So here, there are 3 keywords, dear friends, about this concept. Acquire information, assimilate information, and exploit information. Based on these 3 keywords, the previous authors have generated, what? 7 items. Okay? For example, actually we are asking similar things. Okay? But we are trying to measure them, minimize them. They are successful in identifying even information. Identify, acquire. We are successful in evaluating. Okay? We are successful in acquiring. Actually, the first 3 is measuring the acquisition process. The next 3 is what we mean as acquisition and exploitation. Okay? Because we are asking the same, we are asking about a single construct, the responses we receive from the respondents, the results must correlate to each other. For example, if the person says 1 to this one and 5 to that one, it means that either he didn't understand the question or he didn't read the question carefully, or incorrect person. Okay? We expect to observe a high correlation among these 7 items. That's how we check the quality of the measures. Okay? So, first one is what? Cronbach alpha. If you use SPSS, Cronbach alpha is calculated in 1 second. You just select and ask, check for reliability in 1 second, you will get the result. Cronbach alpha, and for example, composite reliability, 2. These are 2 indicators of the consistency of the results. And in the previous one, there were 7 items. Remember, each of them is a imagine that each of them is a separate quiz for a single student. Okay? Each item is a different assessment. Okay? So we expect to have a consistency, and both Cronbach alpha and composite reliability, both of them are measuring the consistency among the items. Okay? So these are the thresholds. Okay? No need to memorize them. The textbooks are given for Cronbach alpha, less than 0.7, greater than 0.9 are not pretty well. Okay? Indicator reliability measure. Okay, indicator reliability, we have a construct, okay, and 7 items are measured a single constant, okay, which shows that whether each item is correlated to the construct itself. Again, from our domain. Indicator reliability means that you don't give a student a final score, correct? This final score. And there are 7 quizzes, correct? So, indicator reliability shows whether each quiz is related to the average score. Okay? So, these are between the quizzes, the correlation between the quizzes, this is correlation between the final exam and a single quiz. Okay? These are provided by the software, no need to calculate on our own. That we will just collect it, it turns out. Right, you're good. So SPSS can analyze only global alpha, but other softwares, almost ALS3 can analyze the other 2. Okay? So for reliability, dear friends, we have just these 3: Chroma alpha, Congress reliability, and indicator reliability. Okay? For the validity, we have validity, let's remember, is the ability of our scale to measure what it wants to measure. Okay? First one is what's convergent validity? It is disclosed by average variance extracted ABE. The threshold is 0.5. Okay? Again, this is generated by the software, you don't need to calculate it. Okay? This shows how well the items are among each other. It's like reliability action. Okay? Correlation. Discriminant validity is refers that the constructs of each study. Now it's study. For example, we have 2 constructs in here. Construct 1, construct 2. Okay? There are items. Item 1, 2, 3, 4. So initially we know that items 1 till 5 should be related to the first construct, correct? The rest must be measured to the second construct. So discriminant validity means that this item should not measure this one. This item should not measure this one. Each item must be measuring its own construct. Okay? So they have to measure the construct, they have to be correlated to each other, they shouldn't be measuring the other constructs. You see, there are a lot of tests we need to make. Here, there are different criteria. Recently, HTML criteria should not exceed 0.19. This is also a threshold. We can calculate it manually, or if you are using a software, it calculates. Okay?
Software for which one?
PLS.
PLS?
PLS calculates. But based on content validity, unfortunately, there is not a statistical procedure. It is before you design a survey, you need to speak to the academicians and practitioners and show them how much they understand, how much these mean to the people. For example, when in my PhD study, I had to translate English items into Russian. We sent it to 5 different translation agencies, 5 different translations arrived. I don't know which one to select, and I want to do industry experts, the business people. I showed them. What do you understand? They say, I understand nothing from you. I understand this. No, then we paraphrase, rephrase, and we enhance the base and content validity through what? Understanding. Yeah. Okay. SPSS is not capable to assess the conversion and discriminant validity, but SPM software can do that. So, friends, again, that's my final words. Everything depends on your theory, understanding of the theory, the literature that you reviewed. You must have a clear mind, what you want to do, what kind of relationships or comparisons you want to do, and your measurement model. But model beginners be here. Actually, this is the relationship between items and the constructives and what model that you are testing. Okay? For example, you want to understand the relationship between happiness and success. For example, this is your hypothesis. This is your entire model, but each one is a different model, and each relationship in here is a different hypothesis. You need to verify and justify the quality. Dear friends, for example, when you go to the bazaar and bring home potatoes, ladies, you immediately what? Start cooking. What do you do? Okay, put cat, clean it. The data is the same. Okay, but so the here from this fixed and content validity happens when you go to the bazaar and try to choose the best potato with the best price. No statistics work there. Okay, when you come home, first you check for the quality. Are they useful or not? Fresh in, fresh out. High quality data will lead to high quality research output. Just we shouldn't collect the data just to collect the data. If it is not high quality, the result will be a trash. Okay? These are the what references that you can what refer to. If you have any questions, I will be happy to respond.
You know, actually, this is actually, I think it's supposed to be analysis between different overs, yes, for example.
Yeah, but this can be tested by the SEM. So again, SPSS does not have.
Yeah, so because of it, I'm asking, but you know, I want to make analysis of the development different fictions with place of different factors.
Structural equation modeling.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
But, so by the way, actually, I'm not familiar with this thing, and I'm not familiar with this stuff.
SPSS cannot. SPSS is outdated. We need to learn.
What difference, by the way, in case of this and analytic analysis?
Analytic is time series. Now, SPSS cannot make time series analysis. Yeah, each of them has an advantage and disadvantage. So we need to select the most appropriate management method. Select the most appropriate software. Make the most appropriate test.
Probably, you know, in this case, we can improve our quality of our research to get its bosses. As I said,
No, actually, just one is enough for each research.
Exactly.
Yeah, but for example, SPSS can just make simple regression analysis and other tests. Okay, it can function a lot of things, but such conceptual model tests, it cannot. You cannot. But panel data, SPM cannot do it.
Okay, it's more right. Yes.
No, advanced or not, each of them has a different capacity. This is something like, is a bus for track advantages. It depends. If you want to carry people, you choose bus. If you want to, what, remove trash, you use track. It depends. Nothing is superior than other. But SPS is development. And they don't use it too often. Okay? Any other questions? Previous? This one? I can share this one. The third one, here. A great one, okay? Actually, I suggested that 5 hour seminar on SEM, PLSTM. Partial list squares modeling, structural equation modeling. Very easy, very functional, everybody. Yeah, classified, you also can do it. No problem, you just do and press and wait for the output, just press. No need to know statistics. It provides everything for you. It is a 5 hour, I think, seminar. And I use PS in my doctoral study. Very easy to use. Everybody, especially for young researchers, I strongly recommend them to learn it. Very easy, completely easy.
Okay, very good idea. Yes, we should do the next seminar. Now, let me put it into
Okay, if you have any suggestions, questions,
But for the first
evidence or evidence?
evidence.
Evidence.
No.
Evidence, synthesis of evidence, by the way, but it's just evidence. It's like data.
Which is
Okay. So, good afternoon already. And let me start off right away. Please, I might speak too fast. You're welcome to interrupt me and ask your questions, okay? Just like a disclaimer. So today I want to discuss synthesis of evidence, basically get some introduction and make some demonstration how it's done. And probably you less heard about synthesis of evidence, but heard more about systematic reviews, which is like more common type of evidence synthesis of research. So I'd like to share this concept and make a case that it's one of the ways to excel in academia, especially for young researchers. So this is the picture from New Orleans, and I guess it just summarizes how it's done, because these leaves may introduce or will represent it's magnolia tree in New Orleans, and it blooms in January. And leaves may represent the evidence, the old knowledge available out there, especially peer review, maybe the green literature. And our goal is basically just collect this evidence and make sense of it. Okay. So about myself, since I'm relatively new faculty here, my name is Nurzhan Mukash. I'm a physician by training, also I'm a college administrator, and have experience in healthcare and academia. This is my universities, among others, so I really like the shady systems I have there. This is my LinkedIn, you can just find me there and connect. So currently I'm teaching at business school, SDU Business School, research methods for undergraduate and graduate students, and also corporate finance course for graduate MBA healthcare students. Also in terms of research, I'm directing the Center for Health Policy and Management at SDU, and my interests lie within the healthcare leadership development, health, digital health, health information systems, and health equity. So currently we're engaging in a couple of projects with the industry, with the Kazakhstani Association of Healthcare Managers, and really excited about sharing our skills and knowledge here in this seminar. So please scan this QR code. This is called Mentimeter. You might have already used it, maybe it's new for you, but it's just a polling system. So we can either go through the QR code or maybe use this code at the Menti.com website. So this way, I'd like to learn more about you all. Could you log in? Here's the QR code as well. So I see like 4 people are on there. Yes, everyone there? Can you see the screen? Okay, let's proceed. So you should be seeing this coming up and answering these questions.
Oh, data collection.
Yeah, so you guys represent which department? Is the school people for sure? Anyone else? Science department, sorry, I didn't have it for you. Yes. Yes. Come on. Hold on, these guys. I was expecting to see them.
Very normal.
Yes, 6.
Zero.
6. What's the response rate here? Okay, 6 hours. What about you? You need to choose the answer.
This is not
You will protect me.
So yeah.
selling football.
There's the thing.
Okay, so we talking about like more business background folks. That's all the other specialties here. Okay, thank you. Let's proceed. My experience with systematic reviews. Choose the option that best describes your experience, maybe opinion on that.
Yes,
Okay, fair enough. Yay! One user found. Systematic reviews. Seven people already responded. Okay. So, more people wants to know about it. One person never heard of it, and one is using it. Who's using it for systematic reviews for the work?
You know what? The arms big, they're on here.
Sorry?
Systematic reviews.
Do you write systematic reviews or collect reviews? But what's the thing by academic?
Yes.
The last thing should be.
Last is system. Principles will not change. Okay.
Okay, you got that actually. Right? Skip ahead. So you need to go to that question. Okay, so Balaka also uses it for his work. So please read the following, answer the question. Do you think you could use systematic reviews for your research based on your current understanding of this tool? Does it make sense? So consider your current research interests and whether it's possible to use that approach, that method for your work. It's like one person. Oh, nice. Kind of distribution happening there. I never used that question. Yeah. 4 people responded, and I see 7.
No, you can never go because
That was kind of weird seeing this couple of bumps. Yeah. But the average response is 7.7. Should have this.
that bomb is an outlier. Cool.
What do you mean neutral? Okay. So overall, that means that basically we're kind of new to that topic and might be interested in using it in our research. And mostly business people here. Okay, that's fair. That. Okay, so let's talk about evidence synthesis. So as the word itself, the term itself suggests, we are going to synthesize, collect, and make sense of the evidence available out there. And the main important thing about it that It's a good tool for new professionals in the field or in academia to start a new topic, to discuss a new field of knowledge, kind of understand what's going on there, either to start a new research area as the expert in this field, or at least to learn about it as a PhD student mostly, and maybe new early career researchers. It also helps to set some context to your work, especially in business industry. It helps to make decisions in your work. And the thing is that it's mostly used, traditionally used in medicine and health sciences. That's why I'm talking about. But recently, it's taking up. Recently, we're seeing the trends that systematic reviews are used in other fields as well, because of due to the abundance of databases, the papers, electronic access to them. It's easier to use it, as well as software development that also lets us to collect and systematize this data. So these are the fields that starts and implements use of evidence synthesis. So here, this is a very nice publication. And I will be sending out this paper as well. Because on the Goslar, they discussed that this is the overall number of publications in the different databases, as well as Web of Science and Google Scholar. And you see that there was a huge increase in number of publications.
The
A lot of evidence data.
evidence synthesis.
No, yeah,
Yeah,
figure one. Complex. Overall, huge number of publications. And for evidence synthesis, we have this thing going on, and this is logarithmic scale. Starting from 1970s, we see increase in the different types of systematic evidence synthesis research. Here, the yellow thing is the non-systematic reviews, means literature reviews overall. We review what's out there without the systematic approach and make sense of it, which is we usually do. However, the trick with systematic reviews, here we apply some rigor, statistical rigor or general research rigor to make sense, to make our research, first of all, reliable, results are reliable, and to make it replicable. Reproducible, yes. Increase reproducibility. Does it make sense? So that means we want to have clear protocol for our systematic reviews and publish it usually, share it, and show how people can replicate our work, which is important research. And here is a graph of the different fields, sciences that use systematic reviews. The thing is that blue areas are more biomedical, healthcare sciences. However, in the bottom science, we have STEM fields and humanities, not humanities, arts and humanities here. So what you see there is kind of increase in use of the systematic reviews and different research methods in their work. That means quite relatable in our work as well. Not healthcare professionals, but more business and social sciences. Come on. Reasons to do evidence synthesis: identify gaps in knowledge for sure, establish the best evidence base for best practice guidance, which means more practical related, help inform practitioners and policymakers, and great for learning and jumpstart your research. And general idea, I guess, probably the best practice will be starting your, for instance, if you defend your PhD dissertation and you have 3 paper option, decide whether you have this 3 paper option or maybe traditional manuscript, starting with first paper being systematic review of the topic you want to study, which helps you first publish, by the way, and second, sets some context and understanding of the area as a novice. For the types of evidence synthesis, there is a long list of different types, but these are mostly commonly used. Systematic review, which resembles literature review. However, it has very specific protocol, and we usually apply Prisma framework or statement that helps to systematize and provide a checklist to perform high quality systematic reviews. And systematic review per se is like more qualitative synthesis of previous evidence, previous publications. While if we want to quantify quantitative analysis for our work, it gets into like meta-analysis field. So we perform meta-analysis for systematic review. And there, for sure, you need a statistician in your team to provide very nice and valid statistical.
Do you have a question? I have a question.
Yes.
What's the difference between smart reading and simple words?
In simple words, for literature review, you don't have rigorous protocol in your review. For systematic review, you want to report that you use either Prisma or different variations of Prisma checklist that supports that your basically you're saying that you use very rigorous research method here, which is systematic review.
Can I add something? Systematic review is a research method itself, a separate research method.
Yeah.
For example, you need to specify how you selected the literature, the protocols, well, what criteria, how did you make the selected articles, how did you synthesize, you give detailed information, but the traditional literature, it is a part of your article.
Isn't one of the
You can do both because for systematic review, you can start with like, for instance, you can have like 100 papers included in your systematic review, and then you can like categorize them by country, authors, or topics, or like methods they use it for their research.
That's all. Meta-analysis, as you said,
It's more rigorous. It's very statistical. So
statistical. You take the averages and you find out the growth.
So what happens, you take all the results. For instance, you have 5 papers on specific metric, corporate finance, whatever. So you have like measures, and they report certain numbers, averages, or maybe mean numbers, income, something. What for meta-analysis, you take 5 papers estimates, and then put them one analysis, kind of 5 measurements, though it's kind of average from the previous one. So for that, you need to be very savvy on statistical approaches in using this.
I think this is much common in the medical area.
Meta-analysis. Exactly.
Because there are some cancer studies, they take a lot of studies, their outputs, their results are much more standardized compared to the business area. In business area, it's very difficult. Okay, they do it, but not too common. But in medicine, I think it's much more common.
Yeah, I can extrapolate, actually explain. In education, we can use like pixel scores, right? For instance, it's like pretty much standardized across different countries and societies. So you can like, again, do some kind of analysis on that. For instance. So the tool is very strong. It depends on your kind of creativity, how you can apply it in your research. Scoping review is kind of light version of systematic review. You still have a protocol, but scoping review means you review systematic reviews. Fun, isn't it? It's called So your inclusion criteria for methods is like specifically saying, I'm reviewing systematic reviews, but not original research. And that means it's very high level review of what's available. Okay? And it's like less rigorous. And rapid review, it's often used in health technology assessment where you have like a shorter time frame and you need to do like very fast, maybe 3 months, up to 6 months. And for that, you do rapid review with like smaller scope of the project. And systematic reviews traditionally done like on average in a year, maybe a year and a half, too long.
Nurzhan, so
Yes.
types of evidence yes? Yeah, these types actually reflect English, material, all actually evidences.
Şimdi sayabiliriz.
Okay, I can understand the
All the time, literature review in simple terms.
No, I mean, I'm not
Yeah. Literature review on steroids.
You make it more academic. Yeah. This is type of literature review.
I mean, about that, they use definition evidence synthesis. So I mean, about
So, like literature review have its own like benefits and however shortcomings, especially in terms of validity. For sure. And systematic review have specific.
I mean, about not.
I just want like to
I
finish
mean,
about
about small definition, it's common, no, definition of this type.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
Well, probably have done that word like.
Okay, so here just mathematics of how this is done, like systematic review, what others do. They basically identify your issue, determine the question, put your research question, move to the right plan protocol for the review, basically identify inclusion and exclusion criteria, like time frame, which year you want to select for your review, etc.
And in some studies, I'm interrupting you, sorry, but in some studies, they give the code. The search engine, they write a code.
Yes.
This word and this word or that word, there's a lot of, they provide, you need to create the code from. So
Yes, your keywords need to be clearly stated. You're logically restated by and or not operators for your whatever EBSCO, another database search, Scopus, website, whatever. And you need to provide it. That's why it's rigorous, gets rigorous. So others can replicate your work. So based on that protocol, you do your research, search for studies, and imagine, depending on your approach, you basically identify a specific database you want to include. For sure, you want to introduce or tell which language you're going to use, etc. So these criteria are important because next step will be searching for studies, and usually it's done by with the help of librarian, scientific librarian. And in certain universities, they have even like services that help researchers to run these services. And usually it's a good practice to include librarians who search for studies and help kind of deduplicate and screen for the studies to include as a co-authors because of their input for the search. So what happens after the search is done? You have like big number of publications, usually peer-reviewed. However, depending on your criteria, again, you can include great literature, adding more. Next step, we had like manually going through the reports, or maybe asking other authors to share the information or research data or something else, and so on. So depends on your reading here. Then we have all these like number of papers that apply included in your initial search, and then you just go through several rounds of screening and selection, which is a lot of work. And usually, we have like two authors to do that. Two researchers should be doing that. If one person does it, low quality, because of course, subjectivity, sometimes tiredness, etc. But if you, two people do it like in parallel together, and they just confirm each other's choices, whether it's included and excluded, we have like better like quality of selection. And if they have conflict, yes or no, and no, the third reviewer can help or these two discuss it and resolve it. That's why it kind of gets a bit complicated, maybe too much. However, it can be done. Yes, question?
no.
Oh. Then we do what? We select and like minimize the number, like throw away some random papers. and we extract data from the studies at the end of the day. So we collect whatever concepts we want to include on our study, whatever evidence is available on the research project we have, whatever concepts we want to include. If you do meta-analysis, for sure you include all the metrics, measures, the estimates they have. Major importantly for systematic reviews, assessing the quality of the studies. And here we are basically addressing different types of biases that can be like related to that publications, including whether the original paper was well done, the quality of the original papers. Like we kind of like different approaches can be done, but say we can look at their methods and see whether this study was rigorous or less so. What kind of methods were used? Was it like, did they use like very rigorous statistical methods, or was it just a literature review or something like that? And also, sometimes we even can assess the publication bias, which is fun, isn't it? Publication bias by itself is a big problem. And systematic reviews usually can catch it and see, okay, so what's included, but what's not included, and why. So that's why we can like kind of like show some context on the problem.
So is there a procedure for detecting
Apology assurance?
to publication bias? You know, what is it subjective?
In most of cases. However, your task is basically justified and shown.
For instance, for bias, we use statistical methods in survey studies. Are there any statistical tools or no?
So what happens next is synthesis itself. When analysis of quantitative and synthesis is qualitative synthesis of evidence. Discussion, conclusions, findings, reporting, submission, publication.
Well, it seems very easy.
It is.
Might review like stands as a research, so it doesn't require methodology part.
It's just required.
No, it has a methodology. It's a research method itself, like qualitative, like quantitative, like experiment. But it has its own what?
What would you want to review?
So the truth, you don't make that these papers publications. You make sense of this information from there.
So many studies it should take into account.
As research is said, it depends. It depends here, how many papers are out there. If you have a lot, but if it's heavily where you have a different research, it's sort of the big guy. That's why. Okay. Probably I want to proceed. So here we have like this prisma, which is like the standard systematic review checklist or standard to report your systematic review results. And this is evidence-based minimum set of items to report in your systematic reviews and reports. So Prisma chart and graph looks like this. So basically that funnel you see in the picture, this is the report you have in your paper. Because here you use the numbers, how many reports were included, how many duplicates were removed, how many records like papers, publications. Screening for relevance, excluded, also state what are the excluding criteria, either language, origin, or whatever. Then full text articles assessment for eligibility. So at this step, usually on screening, we look at the title and abstract. Here, we read the whole paper. Lot of work. And based on that examination, we can also throw away some part of the publications because in closer looking, sometimes they don't really well. And after that, we'll have like very small fraction of that big chunk studies, including qualitative synthesis. So this is the main goal you want to have it. dig and savor, basically read through and interpret and report and kind of discuss. So this is the principle.
I want to add one thing in here. Could you please come back to every step in here should be clearly discussed in your publication. So for example, why do you exclude some of them? Why do you exclude the reasons for inclusion and exclusion? They require you to write them very clear.
So, yeah, thank you. That just underlines why your protocol is important before you start your work. If you're clear about what you're going to do, the work gets easy, just automatic. Not automatic, but technical. You just need to go through steps. But if you're not clear about your protocol, each step will be burdensome, a lot of pain because so what should I do next? A lot of discussion involved. So here I have different resources. So there is a right review. Which review is right review? Okay. So here you just kind of go with the algorithm, qualitative or quantitative? Qualitative?
Oh, let's say qualitative.
Okay, I can just click. So you just need to answer several questions. Is your review question fixed or likely to be emergent? Like new? Oh, we can like look at it. What's fixed?
Fixed.
Okay.
Whatever.
Who's your primary audience? Student makers, practitioners, researchers, academics?
Researchers and
And how are you planning to contribute to existing knowledge by doing the review? Synthesis, peer building, testing, research gaps,
identification of research gaps, especially for doctoral students.
will be likely include articles containing sufficient detail regarding the role of theory within your planned review. Wow. Too much theory, frameworks, concepts?
Yes. Theory.
We like theory.
Doctoral means theory.
Will be likely include articles containing sufficient supporting detail to understand the study context. What type of sampling method do you plan to use? Comprehensive coverage of eligible studies or reverse sampling?
Purpose is subjective.
Everyone?
Yeah. Objective.
How many studies do you plan to review? Limited number of studies, large number of studies?
Yeah, large.
Comprehensive.
Large.
Will your review be limited by any time or resource constraints?
Yes.
Will your review team include members with experience in knowledge synthesis?
Yes.
Advisor development and
Yes.
Okay. Will your review team include members with expertise in qualitative research? So, different tools available. What's suggested? Rapid narrative synthesis. It tells you what can be done. So you can like new definition here. So it's to your question, what's the definition and what you want to do? So here is to explain how. So you can like look at certain like citations, maybe sources, and quite interesting. Okay.
So website, right review, right review.
Oh, isn't that something in the book?
Yes.
Okay.
For example, each study, if you are going to
So want to see here, see link address, and you can click this and go to the website. Also, as I said, like Prisma is a reporting guideline checklist. However, there is like also another resource that have different types of reporting guidelines for different research methods. And mostly they use in healthcare field. However, we can use it, especially in economic evaluations. Cheers. Have you heard of this? Probably yes. Cost benefit analysis. So these guys use this to report their results. So nothing You don't need to like come up with some methods. Everything is already there. The recipe is there. You just need to like keep one and just report the results. At least stick to that guidance. And case reports here, systematic reviews, Prisma, observational studies. Do we do that? Stroke. Qualitative research, SPQR or correct. Have you used correct? No. And so on. Quality improvement studies in business. So if you go there for Prisma, for instance, you already know Prisma. The thing is that Prisma have different types because they're kind of like extensions to Prisma. Prisma equity, so there's like additional items. If you like focus on specific item or topic, you can include this. Prisma abstract, Prisma P for what? For protocols only. Extension for network meta-analysis, harm, if you assess partners, etc.
These are the guidelines on how to report that.
Yes, and Prisma and SCR, scoping reviews, like separate kind of version of Prisma. So if you go there, you can like find a lot of potentially useful information. So for sure, technology. Of course, technology. These are usually used as advanced tools. I've seen like people use Confidence and Ryan. So the thing is, Confidence is like proprietary. We need to buy it, license. Ryan is kind of conditionally free because basic version is free and we need to buy additional or extended version to perform more rigorous systematic reviews.
Are they specifically designed for the systematic reviews? Excuse me. These are softwares
Yes.
for systematic reviews.
Different evidence synthesis types.
Different.
So actually, I'm doing Confidence demo now. And the thing is that with that, you also want to use these citation elements of yours. So Terra, Mendeley, and whatever you prefer.
So I want to ask, these software, are they similar to this qualitative data analysis software, or are they different?
They're different. They are different because, for instance, in vivo, qualitative analysis. In vivo, there you can like add notes, highlight stuff, link and tag. In Confidence, you cannot do that. The main goal of Confidence go through this funnel very fast. And what happens from there, actually, you could add stuff as they were like final, whatever, XYZ number of papers, you do it in vivo. And there you can do all the qualitative analysis, which you want. If you don't have access to in vivo, you can use these guys.
Actually, I never seen that topic. I sent you on how to use Atlas TI in literature reviews.
Yes. Is it free?
Atlas TI, I have the correct version. We have not legal here. Okay, but just I can give a seminar on how to use Atlas TI in what literature reviews. But I just want the interesting these softwares. You need to see them.
Yeah, sure. Of course. I mean, I really like it. Probably we should plan for one.
Yeah, just
Okay, so Confidence looks like this. Here's that personal information, and here's my active reviews. Thanks to my university subscription, it's available for me. And here are my current reviews. It's like old one. We're getting to publish it soon, I hope. This is kind of active, still like waiting for my second co-author to go through. And I will show this guy. And this is my current view, my own farm project. I want to assess hospital assessment projects in cardiovascular diseases in Central Asia. We perform systematic review on this and provide some context on how policy making is supported by evidence. Here I go to this project, which is with my peer in university, another group of students. We try to see what was the capacity to treat, to cure people with substance use disorders, like drugs, alcohol, and tobacco is excluded actually, and other like smoking stuff. So what happens, the first step looks like this. Here, there's different times when different number of studies were uploaded to this system. So you can go to your App Store or PubMed, whatever you use, do your search with your inclusion and exclude keywords, then download, like, let's say, like 2,000 papers, citations for them as a bibliography file, and then just upload these citations here. And here we have these numbers of papers, and duplicates also taken care of here. Sometimes you should do like a couple of manual duplications. However, usually it does quickly, which is great. So here we probably I can show how many included in Prisma paper here. At the next step, so this is done by librarians at my university, Tulane. So at this step, we do title and abstract screening. So here is the total number of papers included in the initial step. What we did, we went through titles and abstracts and yes, no, good, that's it. So here it's better to include all possible, not all possible, but over include. Not choose something, right? Possibly important. But sometimes some papers right away are not relevant, so you can like throw away. And what happens here, for myself, I see my progress here, and my teammate also has his own progress report. And one vote is so you can here you can see what's going on there, whether you have like both voted or only one, etc. Sometimes you can have conflicts. Someone voted yes, another no. And here, conflicts tab and go through each one by one. So after that, we screened all these things. And here, what happens? At full text review, we have even like less papers. And here you can see what's going on. I'm working on my full text reviews of the papers. So for this step, what's included or what's required to upload full texts to this system? You can do it. Covenants can do it for you automatically. It does for open access papers. Sometimes you need to add subscription, buy papers. That's why librarians are very important for that. So let's see what's going on here. I can click continue, go to my tab. So here, screen references, it's active now. Conflicts here, 9 conflicts, waiting other reviewer 19, and excluded references 194. So I can look up whatever is done. And here, it's a topic, it's a paper. There's already like bibliography here. And look here, full text uploaded by Mukash. So I manually uploaded this guy here because it didn't find. Here it's not available, I think, and so on. So what happens? I can go open the full text and read through, apply all this exclusion inclusion criteria, and
This is your personal, correct?
yes. Yes, and based on my conclusion here, I look at the goals of the project, of the outcomes usually, and here I decide include or exclude. If I am excluding, I have to indicate the reason why I'm excluding. It's important because it then goes to your Prisma table or graph. Okay? Clear? Questions?
The software can help us to find out the relevant articles.
This one? it does it automatically. However, some part of it is not done, so you have to go back and correct it. However, in Zotero, I could do it. I could ask Zotero to, I can download the citations for missing papers from here, which is like small form, and then ask Zotero to find full texts, open access, whatever it does. Again, not everyone, but can help with that. And then you can download them, and this file can be uploaded here right away. So you don't have to do manually. So technology is already like advanced in this way. So you see how it's getting easier, right?
Is it free?
This one, no, you should buy a subscription for that. Maybe university can afford it. So conflicts like here. Here, I see that different reasons. So it's excluded. It's excluded by, but the reasons are different. So we need to reconcile this with the second model. Here, someone voted yes, another voted no. So final decision needed. Okay. Well, this looks like this. So you go one by one, and sometimes it's easier to download like mobile version of it and just like scroll like you do on TikTok, on Instagram, something like that, but for the purpose of your research. It saves time. Okay, let's go back. So after you did this step, full text review, yes, we talked about this. And here in extraction, 47 papers out of 6,000. It took quite a bit of time because when you screen, we were working and full-time PhD students, we didn't have much time, but daily you can do like 200, 300 papers, a couple of hours work. But afterwards, you find like 50, 30 papers. And you can go and start extraction. And for extraction, usually we can use Excel table with whatever criteria we have, and just add this information and synthesize this and write up our manuscript. Or you can use NVivo or Atlas CI for that. Definitely should do it. It's definitely good. If you don't have access, Excel spreadsheet does it. So the last note here is Prisma. So all these like tabs you looked at is quantified here for you. You can download it. It's downloaded in Microsoft Word. And 47, 48 papers are here. And you can just copy paste in your publication.
This process should be explained. This process should be explained clearly in everything. How many they included, how many source?
So in settings, you can like update all the requirements. And then when you set up your research, here you can like you choose what kind of review you're performing. Ours was scoping review, what's it? Part of the scoping review. Rapid review, umbrella review, literature review, general literature review, and down here.
A lot of research.
Then you might choose like different sciences here. So this is very great for documenting your whole steps, which takes a lot of time and the manner. And so on. Reviewers, you can add reviewers, send invites. So here you can see my name, my co-author name, and Jamie is a librarian. So current input was like adding all these papers here.
Wow.
And if sometimes we have questions, we can go back to her, ask, can we help with like adding like secondary citations as well, finding them? So it's like collaborate with her. And if you do a meta-analysis, please add statistician to that body. Okay, team settings. Here you can indicate who have different roles. Sometimes you need 3 reviewers. The third will be like a judge about conflicts and so on. And eligibility criteria. So here you can actually indicate what are inclusion and exclusion criteria right away when you plan and write your protocol methods. And then it just takes care of itself. So I think that's it for me for confidence demo. And for the summary, the top. Evidence synthesis is a low-hanging fruit for academicians in terms of, as I said, no need to collect primary data, no need to delve into like secondary data analysis and get involved like crazy economic analysis, etc. However, you can just run this analysis and get some results, apply some rigorous method of Prisma, and begin. Easy to use with a ton of guidance and technical support, as I said. And technical support gets better as ChatGPT. There are different AI tools to perform systematic reviews. Help you with that. Even I think I've seen a browser. There should be a browser. You can like put your keywords and just use your result. Now you will need to invest money into proprietary software, buy software to set up the evidence synthesis research pipeline. If you kind of want to do that research, base your work on that, and kind of like make it like continuous work for your center or department, it's better to invest in that process and teach people, and especially to have a lot of like research assistants. Yeah? Because this kind of technical work needs to be done with many hands, and sometimes it's takes a lot of time from the researcher. And it requires good skills in database search, that is having scientific library on the team. So maybe scientific department will consider it as a potential idea of discussion. The thing is that I keep seeing a lot of different examples of scientific reviews of different ideas coming from like Iran, not Central Asia, China, what else? India, and probably these are not like heavy scientific universities, but they have like a team of people who can apply rigorous methods and do the work and report and publish in high scopus journals. So I guess that's it. You can have questions. Okay.
Question.
Yes.
So personally, I think the problem in searching articles in a database that I use Google Scholar. I don't know if it's good source or not, but and then I start opening on articles, most of them require subscription, most of them were paid, and it's really difficult to find like free full text article. So what I can use to find full text article?
Scientific librarian of scientific communities. So the thing is that we have our scientific library, and they have like subscriptions to EBSCO and different databases that provide access to papers.
They are subscribed to most of them, but you find an article, and this article is in a database which we are not subscribed. There are so many databases that our university will